everyone, and welcome to this Diablo 3 Conquest guide for the Curses seasonal achievement, also known as the Stars Align achievement in hardcore mode. With the right class and setup, this can be a good conquest to complete to make progression on your seasonal objectives with a relatively low required time investment. To complete this achievement, you'll need to kill 350 enemies at a Cursed Chest event. There are many Cursed Chest events in the game, but there is only one that spawns enough monsters to reliably kill 350 of them, especially when you're playing solo. The chest spawns at the top of a platform in the Pass of the Drowned Zone in Act 5. Luckily, this chest is associated with a particular bounty called the Cursed Peat, making it very straightforward to locate it. To get a guaranteed chest spawn, create a game and check for this bounty in this zone. If you don't see it, just leave and keep recreating games until you do. The spawn rate for the bounty is relatively low, in the 1 to 2% range, so locating the correct bounty can be pretty tedious. It's possible for this same chest to spawn without the Cursed Peat bounty, but it's generally not worth trying to travel through the zone to find it. The zone is pretty unfriendly for exploring. It is rather large and there are many traps and red pools scattered around on the ground that will slow you down, knock you back, and do significant, potentially fatal damage to you, even if you have a strong build that normally clears maps on Torment 16 difficulty with ease. And on top of all that, the correct tile set for the chest may not even have a chance to spawn if other tile sets are already spawned in the zone. So to make the most efficient use of your time, you would need to learn what other tile sets to look out for as well. So to avoid dealing with all of this, it's best to just keep remaking games until you find the Cursed Peat bounty for a guaranteed chest spawn. Just know that it can easily take you over 50 game creations to find the bounty. It's riveting gameplay, I know, but overall, it's less stressful in the end. Just queue up some YouTube videos and sit back while the games are loading up. But if you really don't like recreating games over and over, or perhaps the server or your internet connection or computer are slow and it takes a while to load games, then travel to the zone and do a circular sweep around the waypoint, looking for this large tile set. Once you know what to look for, it's hard to miss. The tile set will often spawn pretty close to the waypoint, so just do a quick check and don't do an exhaustive search of the entire zone, and then recreate the game. If you're going to do checks like this, then only do it in games where there are no bounties in the zone, which will happen about half of the time. Depending on the bounty, the cursed chest you're looking for can't spawn at all, so you can avoid wasting time unnecessarily. It's also possible to use other chests in the game to get the conquest done, but none of the others can compare to this particular chest's monster spawn rate, so it's not recommended to bother with the other ones. Since the spawn rate is so low, before you go searching for the chest, you'll want to make sure that you're capable of completing the event successfully. You don't want to spend a bunch of time hunting down the chest event to only then come up short on killing 350 enemies. There's a lot of aspects that factor into a successful run, but we'll try to go through some of the key ones here. The most straightforward prerequisite is to make sure that you have Torment 16 difficulty on farm status with a speed farming build, where you can easily clear large groups of monsters in a couple of hits with ease. You will want a build that can dish out as much area of effect damage as possible. Recognize that many builds that perform well in high-level Greater Rifts will not perform well with this chest. Many Greater Rift builds rely on high burst damage after grouping up a large pack of enemies. Instead of this, you'll want a damage-dealing attack that you can cast on demand to clear enemies off the screen as soon as they appear. Generally, a speed farming build will be better suited than a Greater Rift build. Ideally, you want a build that can sit in one spot and do damage from range. Any time spent moving and not doing damage will hurt your chances of success unless your build can move while dealing damage. You'll want as much damage output as you can get, and you'll want to drop the game difficulty down to the minimum required to complete the conquest, Torment 10, even if you can easily kill things on Torment 16. At the lower Torment 10 difficulty, you'll be able to kill things even easier, and you'll also have inherently higher survivability, allowing you to shift any defensive-related skills or items to offensive-related ones. Depending on your class and build, in addition to damage, you may also want more movement speed, particularly if your build does not have great range on its damage-dealing ability and you need to be in melee range to hit monsters, like the Whirlwind Barbarian. Make sure to double-check your skill's rune choices to see if there are any better offensive or movement-related choices, and also don't forget to look through your passive skill options. You should also focus on skills that keep your resource regenerated, which ultimately translates into higher damage output in the short span that the chest is active, especially toward the end of the event timer when a higher number of monsters will be spawning. Any time you need to spend casting a resource-generating attack will be time not spent casting your main damage-dealing attack. Items like Pride's Fall Helm or Cinder Coat may be useful. If you have any gear pieces that are supplemental to your 6-piece set that offer a toughness bonus, then swap them out for different items that offer either increased damage output or movement speed if applicable. You should also drop any toughness-related gems for offensive-related ones. Bane of the Trapped and Zaystone of Vengeance are good candidates. If your build needs to stay on the move, then consider using the Wreath of Lightning legendary gem to get increased movement speed, allowing you to more easily cover the full platform area. You generally want to avoid Bane of the Powerful. It's not easy to get it activated and maintained since there are no elite monsters that spawn from the chest. If you normally wear rubies or diamonds in your armor pieces for extra toughness, then swap them out to your class's main stat gem to gain increased damage output. And also check your follower skills and opt for choices that increase damage. It's easy to come up short on the kill count, so you want to get every advantage that you can. There's no doubt that a ranged build is ideal for completing this chest event, and no other build is better at it than the Demon Hunter multi-shot build with the Unhallowed Essence set. Multi-shot is the perfect setup for this event. You can stay at range, you can stand still, you have good resource regeneration, you can get good damage, and you have excellent AoE coverage over all the spawn points. The attempt shown here was using a multi-shot Demon Hunter Gold Find build, with no adjustments made consistent with the recommendations from earlier in the guide, and the event got absolutely crushed, well beyond the 350 minimum required kills. If you really need this conquest to finish off your seasonal objectives, then consider saving yourself some trouble and just create an alt Demon Hunter if you don't have a character set up with a good AoE damage build. You can use our alt leveling guide to quickly get them to level 70, and then burn some crafting materials or spend blood shards at Kadala to gear them up. This will be a more enjoyable experience, and you'll be able to more reliably complete the chest event with over 350 kills, rather than having to potentially make multiple attempts on the chest, having to find the bounty each time. But while Demon Hunter is the king, other builds can get the job done, such as Wave of Light for Monk, Frozen Orb for Wizard, Whirlwind for Barbarian, Spirit Barrage for Witch Doctor, among a few others. Alternatively, an even easier way to complete this conquest is to team up with at least one other person. If you're in a group, then you won't have to worry about your build as much, and you may not even need to change anything. Just make sure the group is spread out to cover all the spawn points on the platform. Another major benefit to grouping with others is you will be able to find the Cursed Peat bounty much quicker. Before anyone joins up in a party, have the individual people look for the bounty on their own. Once someone finds it, have that person invite everyone else to their game. Once you find the chest, clear the area leading up to it, and wait before you activate it. Look over your setup and make sure everything is in order, so you don't waste your attempt. Make sure you have all the correct skills assigned and items equipped, wait for your skills to come off cooldown, cast your long duration buffs, make sure the difficulty is set at Torment 10, ensure your follower is assigned, and wait for your resource to get to maximum if applicable. Once you click on the chest and activate it, you'll have 45 seconds to kill as many enemies as you can. As the timer counts down, more and more enemies will spawn. There will be a monster counter on the screen, but don't focus on it. Keep your eyes on the play area and focus on killing as fast as possible, and only glance at the time duration bar. As the spawn rate ramps up toward the end, you will get a lot of kills in the final few seconds. If you're watching the monster counter, you might get discouraged and let your foot off the gas pedal. In those last few seconds, make sure you do as much burst damage as possible to finish it off. If you have plenty of resource available, just keep burning through it until the end. And that's all there is to this one. Good luck trying to finish it. If you enjoyed the guide and would like to see more content, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.